Hey everybody, this is Steve Kodan. Welcome to another tip on how to use feng shui for real estate success. This is again some information about myself, and you can see that I was definitely a real estate agent for quite a few years. Actually was an owner broker also of a mid-sized real estate company. And so I found feng shui really had an awful lot of advantages to me when I was using it for my listings especially. Today's topic is called the four big D's. And I had to make up some words to make sure they started with a D, but it worked out pretty good. Have you ever heard of a space clearing? Well, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. And it's actually a good thing to do for any house, any environment. And there are certain times when it's even more important. But when you're selling a house, to me, it is important to go through the process. Now, if I brought up a formal space clearing for a lot of clients, they probably would not be terribly interested. So I've come up with doing these four tasks that actually pretty much takes care of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for to get rid of the negative old energy and bring in some positive new energy. So we're going to do decluttering, depersonalizing, detailing, and finally deep cleaning. And I found out that if I get my clients to do those four things, they are way ahead of the other houses in the neighborhood just by doing those things. And they're all really related to feng shui. Now, if you take a look at this picture, I don't know how it makes you feel, but it doesn't make me feel real positive. And for a home buyer, for a potential home buyer, they're going to look at it in a lot of different ways, if not being real good. There's just not enough room for possibly storing their items. But in feng shui, this is also clutter. So these bookshelves really sort of makes a person feel poorly. Feng Shui is a lot about psychology. And we want to make sure that a person's subconscious and consciousness comes off feeling positive about a house that they're looking at. So again, this bookcase doesn't make me feel good, and I don't think it's going to make any of your buyers look good. Decluttering, this couple over here on the right, they certainly could use some help. And feng shui, clutter is a real bad word. Okay, so you always try to eliminate that to make the house, of course, more spacious. In feng shui, it has other meanings too. It actually allows the flow of energy through the house to be much more positive. But even the flow of traffic of the human being is a lot easier, and it is very noticeable. But too much of anything certainly makes a room feel smaller, and we don't want that feeling. Feng shui is about having a feeling of lots of room for potential. So clutter, boy, it comes in so many different sizes and shapes and places. In feng shui, we look at all of those. So even too much visual stimuli is clutter. So let me show you a prime example of what I mean by visual stimuli. And this is definitely going to take away the focus of your buyer very quickly. We've all ran into walls that look like this. We've all seen things like this. And this takes away their focus. And their focus is really to get there and see if the house is going to be perfect for them, not to take into account what the buyer or what the owner is like or who they are. A deep cleaning is very, very important of getting that feeling, getting that space clearing done. And it changes a buyer's emotions tremendously. And if we do this and we do all of these tasks, can you understand that the final walkthrough is going to be a breeze? That these people are going to be very, very easily set up for those quick calls where they say, hey, do you mind if I see the house or show the house in 10 or 15 minutes? They'll be ready all the time. So deep cleaning is a top to bottom, thorough and complete cleaning. You're going from baseboard up to the ceiling, everything, including behind the refrigerator and so forth. And if you do that, it changes the feeling of the house remarkably. Detailing means to take care of everything that doesn't work. Everything needs to work when you put a house on the market. Anything, anything can give the wrong impression to the potential buyer. So even a light bulb that is out, it just sort of gives them the impression, well, maybe you just sort of let a lot of other things go by the wayside. So if something doesn't work in feng shui, it's bad qi, causes stress. It's a psychological block. Depersonalizing, usually important. And I like to refer to it as eliminating predecessor energy to some degree. Now, certainly they're probably still living there. The room that you look over there on the right, they're certainly living there. And this room gives the wrong impression in a lot of different ways, from the oxygen tanks to 3 lamps to the prescriptions out on the tables to an unmade bed. There's an awful lot of things there that are wrong, that are really going to hurt. But you want to take away the predecessor energy as much as possible. So therefore it comes off more fresher and newer. So get rid of those personal photographs, at least 95% of them. Any extensive collection has to go. You need to have a way of talking to people about removing religious items. Any items that might offend somebody. Personal hygiene items. Nobody wants to see your toothbrush or any of those kind of things. Put them away. Medications, healthcare items, like again you see in this picture, they should never, ever be out. Looks like this is a room where a person who is not feeling their best, who might be sick, is living there. Any items with strong emotional connections, we don't want them in that house when you're trying to show it. So if you take care of those 4 tasks, those items, you are, I promise you, at least 75% to winning the battle against all the other houses in the neighborhood. Your home is already better than most of them, if not all of them. And as I mentioned before, you're also ready for the final walkthrough. You're ready for that quick showing that you didn't expect. The other 25%, well, that is using some other feng shui techniques. And I call that the dynamizing section. But sometimes the first 75, 80% will actually do the job for you anyway. So this 25% creates more harmony and balance in the house. It also immensely handles the idea of the attraction. So I hope you enjoyed that tip. I try to give some of these tips every once in a while. There are a lot of things about feng shui that are extremely powerful, and I hope you'll keep watching.